Welcome to the You Are More podcast. I'm Blaine Ledbetter.
And I'm Laken Stewart. If you're looking for an authentic community that shares the truth of the gospel and the truth about life, you've come to the right place.
We believe that you are more. You're more than motherhood, more than your ministry, and more than your career. Grab a cup of coffee and listen in to hear the truth about what it means to find your identity in Christ through every season of life.
Welcome to the You Are More podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to the You Are More podcast. We are in the middle of a 3-part series on stories. And so today we're going to talk about just our church stories over the last 5 years and mainly the journey and what we've seen God do and just how he has, just moved in and around our families, but also our churches. So, Laken, I'm going to start with you and let you take the floor.
Let's do it. So I guess 5 years ago was 2018, which is just crazy to me. I can't even fathom it. Almost 2019 because it's almost 2024.
Yep.
Let's see, 2018, around this time, we were in our first year of seminary in Waco, Texas at Baylor University. We had just come off of a 3-year stint working at a church plant. I was the worship director. Cody was the youth pastor. And so we left that for both Cody and I to go to seminary. Obviously, we all know how seminary went for me, but Cody did complete a seminary degree.
Yeah.
And so honestly, in 2018, we needed a break from ministry, full-time working ministry, volunteering and all of that. We had 3 on the ground, really hard work at a church plant. It was a setup and tear down in a YMCA for 3 years before that, multiple times a week. So it was definitely not for the weak-hearted. It was a blast though. The kids were incredible. The community was really great there. We loved it there. But when we moved, we honestly were searching for just the right church and where to go and who would we meet. We moved to Waco not knowing a soul. We didn't know anybody. We didn't have any jobs. We moved there on pure faith because we moved there. And then 6 days after we moved, we went on a mission trip to Peru for 3 weeks. I recommend mission trip to Peru. I do not recommend doing it 1 week after you move to a new state where you know nobody.
Oh my goodness.
It was, so we came back home to something that wasn't home yet. We were still not fully unpacked. And so, we immediately started searching just for the right church for us. We ended up attending Harris Creek Baptist Church before Jonathan Pokluda was the pastor there. My great friend, John Green, he was our first person that we ever met there. I'm really great friends with his wife, Amanda. That's who I actually visited in Waco this past week. And they were some of our first friends in Texas. And then we also made some really great friends through the seminary that we are still friends with today and live close to now. We won't in a few days, but we live close to now. And so, it's been 2018 was a good year for us to just take a year off of full-time ministry, volunteering included. We really needed to be fed in that season. And so that was just a really great time. And then in 2019, Cody actually started working as a residence hall chaplain for Baylor University. So
okay, good.
We actually lived in a freshman residence hall, Penland Hall, shout out to the P Nasty. And we lived in an apartment in the residence hall with 400 other freshmen. And the freshman dudes lived right above us. So we had that broom hitting the ceiling almost every night, telling them to be quiet. And so I was less involved in that ministry itself, mainly because Cody had a very specific job that he was doing. And it was a ministry for sure, but it was vastly different than like church ministry.
Yeah.
And during that time also, he was an interim pastor for a very small church in Mejia, Texas, which is about an hour east of Waco. And so he preached there regularly for 3 or 4 months. That was an interesting time. That was like my first look at small Baptist church, small church of like, I'd always been to larger non-denom, less traditional places of worship. And this was vastly different. And so that was strange for me, but also I was being supportive. And we got to know the folks there, and it was really sweet time. And so he did resident chaplaincy for 2 years. And then when it was about 3 or 4 months before he was set to graduate from seminary, we started searching for what was next, because we had to move out of the apartment at Baylor. We weren't allowed to stay there. Darn, didn't have to live with 500 freshmen. But yeah, so we started searching, and we really, really, really wanted to land in the Knoxville area. Our best friends from Texas were moving back to the Knoxville area, and we were like, we want to live near them. So we started searching high and low for anything under the sun in that area, and everything just fell through. And so we started expanding, and Cody applied for just about every college and young adult pastor position that he could find. And everything just fell through. Either it was he would get to the last round of interviews and they'd pick someone who wasn't coming from seminary, or it just wasn't a right fit for our family. And so this position in Scottsville, Virginia popped up, and he, at first we were like, no, this is not it. It was very small, seemingly traditional church. We just didn't think it was our vibe. The Lord greatly humbled us, and this was the one job that he was offered. And so he's the lead pastor of the church here. And recently he accepted a position as a young adults pastor just outside of St. Louis, in that area. And we are so excited for this move. But with that, we've only been in our current position for about 2.5 years. And so we've been trying to it's been 2.5 years of very difficult, hard ministry. And so we've been trying in our minds to understand, God, why on earth would you lead us here? You're giving us what we originally asked for, which is amazing. We're so thankful, but why on earth would you send us into the valley for 2.5 years? It's been really hard. And Cody and I both have prayed and just reflected on this. And we truly think that this season, the last 2.5 years in Virginia, has been just a pruning, refining season of growth for us. I don't think we would have been prepared I say this, I've said this to Cody, so I feel comfortable saying this here. I don't think he would have been prepared to take on something at a larger church, fresh out of seminary, without this experience. And I, as hard as it is to try to reconcile it, that's what the Lord has shown us, that the last 2.5 years is not for naught. There have been some amazing, wonderful friendships built here, beautiful things happening in ministry here. God has worked his miraculous ways that we could not do in any way. But instead for us, it's been just a season of pruning growth for something next. And truly, we were chatting with some of the staff at our new church, and they were like, the past 2.5 years, our church has been getting healthy. And we think it's been getting really healthy for you guys. And so that was just an amazing thing to hear. And so we're just really excited for the healing season that is to come next. Of course, with any move across the country,
Yeah.
there comes adjustment, and you have to have
Yeah.
patience for yourself and everybody else. But we're really excited for what's next. And so I'm sure I'll have many stories as
Yeah.
Cody will be the young adults pastor. They
Mm-hmm.
recently changed the title. It was the college pastor. Now it's the young adults
Mm-hmm.
pastor for the church we're going to be attending and working for now. And so we're just
So
really
fun.
excited for what's next.
Yeah.
Excited to raise our kids in this new place.
Yeah.
It's just, we visited a few times and it's just awesome. And the people there are so genuine and so nice. And we're just really, really excited. So
That's awesome.
that's
So
kind of
cool.
a not so quick summary. I tried to keep it brief,
Yeah.
but quick summary of the last 5 years. I don't know, Blaine, I know
Yeah.
yours is probably a lot different than mine because we've kind of popped around to quite a
Yeah.
few things. But yeah, I'd love to hear what past 5 years have looked like for you and Andrew.
Well, very different because we've been at the same church, but
Mm-hmm.
also very, very, very much the same. And you and I have had many voice texts about
Yes.
this painful pruning and this
Yeah.
refining season.
Yeah.
But rewind to 2018, that would have put us at our current church for 5 years because we opened that campus in 2013.
Okay.
And my husband's been the campus pastor since that campus launched.
Yeah.
Pretty much as a church plant, but not really because we're kind of coming from an established main campus. But anyways,
Yeah.
2018 saw, in my opinion, lots of fruit. During 2018, 2019, we had some ministries that started that are still going and thriving. And it's one of those things like our senior pastor, who is also my father-in-law, asks all the time. He's like, if our church closed tomorrow, would the community miss us? And
Something we
not
ask ourselves all the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
And not to like toot our own horn or anything that we do is boasting in the Lord. I mean, really, God has done immeasurably more with
Mm.
the foster care ministry that launched during that time and our
Mm.
Alabaster Bag ministry that ministers to our friends in homelessness. Like it's
Mm.
just really people taking steps of obedience. And so, and not just for kids in foster care, but
Mm.
human trafficking victims and parents who are just trying to get their life together and get their kids back. We've helped too. And so it's been incredible. It's been awesome. So that launched 2018, 2019. Church was going great. I mean, really, like growth, people were in and out, and that's just to be expected. And our
Mm.
church is still really new. And so we haven't been around for a long time. So 2020, COVID hit.
Mm.
And if you're a pastor's wife, somebody in ministry,
You know the decision fatigue of
I mean,
2020.
like it was honestly, it was nice to not have to go to church
Mm.
in the like really thickness of COVID because
Mm.
when we did finally regather, there were just so many. I mean, everybody knows there were so many precautions and masks, and it's just not supposed to be that way. It was
Yeah.
not. Obviously, that was in nobody's plans, but it really just took a damper on people connecting and being in community. But however, our family got so much time together to worship together on Sundays because we
Mm.
still did like an online service. And so we just had to adapt. And it really just took a hit. A lot of people left the church, and not just our church, but in talking to other friends in ministry, just not necessarily that it was a mass exodus, but a lot of people left and just never really came back,
Mm.
or it
Yeah.
was just easier to watch online, which is why I kind of have a love-hate relationship with
With the online
watching church
church.
online.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm like, you need to be around people. You need to be in community. Even the Trinity is a great
I know.
example of
Yeah.
Jesus and God the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. That's there, so anyways, we were hit with a church family crisis a year later, and really were just bleeding I mean, just hard. We saw a lot of people just again leave, and we were hurting. So I don't know that we did anything effective from our family in 2021 because I mean we were hurting, and so it was just hard to like help anyone else because it was just, I don't know, it hit us hard, and it was a struggle. Lots of counseling had to go on, lots of hard conversations had to happen. And we'd never been through anything like that at all in the church. And our church didn't split. Like, no one started a new church, but definitely saw a lot of our friends leave, and that was hard. Some pruning started happening, really, really painful. Pruning is always, if you think about
never
pruning
easy.
a plant, no, I mean, it's literally wounding the plant in order for that to grow. And even when I love the analogy. I don't know, John Mark Comer or somebody. It's an analogy of like, even when you plant something in the ground, there's still a wounding of the earth. And so it will grow, but there's still wounding. So anyways, up and down 2021, first of 2022. But honestly, in the last 12 to 18 months, I've seen my husband be more hopeful. I've seen our church shift. It's really strange because I never thought I'd see redemption or hope or light. Just when you're in the thick
when
of
you're
something
thick of
hard,
like something foggy,
you can't imagine.
No,
you can't imagine church ever
getting
changing or
better.
being okay.
Yeah.
But it really it felt like a new baby church plant. Like I told somebody a year ago, I was like, this feels like we're starting over, not with a whole new, brand new congregation, but it was just like, I don't know, something shifted. And so it was kind of like we had to start over, really taking on, if you've been a part of a church plant, you know that like, you just have to take care of everything.
It's
like, set up,
you
tear
do
down.
the setup, the tear down, the
making the coffee, putting
everything.
the signs out, like the directional signs.
It's all hands on deck every Sunday.
It is. And so that's what it felt like. I mean, but really we learned to all work together. Definitely saw stripped it down, really. Acoustic worship sets, which we're used to, like, not big productions, but like we have a drum set and we have a full band, but at that time it was just very bare and raw and felt very much in line with what had happened, like just stripping it all away. So but now we are seeing some fruit and some hope and some light, and our church family has been incredible to our family, but also just some connections and some community and small groups starting. So people are like doing life together again, and it feels just really strange, but strange in a good way, not like awkward or weird, but just like, is this hope? Is this the season of, harvest and plenty after, dry and barren land? So we've sent out people, and so that's hard because it's like you're grieving people who are sent out to do ministry elsewhere. They're not just leaving the church, they're going to minister to others, and we've seen that, but we've also seen people within the church step up, fill the roles that are needed, and it's just definitely answered prayers, and I'm grateful for it. So my husband's preaching more often. We do the simulcast thing. But he's preaching more in person, and we're seeing new families, but then also people that had previously maybe not been involved or were just kind of coming and going, seeing them step up and get to know people, and it's just it's hopeful. And so that's our church journey. It's been like I said, like, in very different because we've been in the same church, but just a season of painful pruning. And I'm thankful that we are seeing some fruit. Church is still hard. It'll always be
It will
hard.
always
I
be
think
hard, no matter where you are. Like,
yeah,
church is hard if you're, I mean, in any capacity. If you, it's going to be hard at some point if it hasn't been hard already.
Right. But it's like not every day is hard. Like it gets better, and
it does.
something could happen to derail us again, but like we've been through it, and we have been through the refining fire. It is, man, it was a hard season. Ministry is hard, but it's good, and we're grateful to be where we are with some really incredible people. So
good. Well,
that's
sharing.
Yeah, well, that's our church stories. So thanks for hanging out for part 2 of our mini series.
Part 2. Yeah. Stay tuned next week for part 3. We're going to be talking about the fun stories from different jobs that we've had. This will be definitely a more lighthearted, less, at least for me, less heavy.
Same. Yes, I'm so excited.
Me too. So stay tuned and make sure you follow us everywhere you listen to podcasts and on Instagram at YouAreMorePod. Thanks, guys.
See ya.